Some love stories begin with fairy tales, others begin with impossible choices. She was born into unimaginable wealth. He spent every day repairing broken engines. Their worlds should never have crossed. Yet one unexpected decision would change both of their lives forever, proving that the richest heart is never measured by money. Isabella Carter had everything money could buy. She lived inside a mansion most people only dreamed about, surrounded by luxury, servants, and endless privilege. But behind every expensive meal and every elegant room, she felt trapped inside a life that someone else had carefully planned for her. Then fate interrupted her perfect routine. On a rainy afternoon, her luxury car broke down outside a small repair shop. Frustrated and impatient, she expected another ordinary mechanic. Instead, she met someone whose quiet confidence and genuine kindness immediately felt different from anyone she had ever known. After repairing the car, Isabella offered far more money than the work deserved. Most people would have accepted without hesitation, but Ethan politely refused, asking only for the fair price. For the first time in years, Isabella met someone who valued integrity more than wealth. That evening, Isabella couldn't stop thinking about the mechanic who refused her money. The receipt rested quietly in her hand, while the city lights shimmered outside her bedroom window. For reasons she couldn't explain, one ordinary act of honesty had left a deeper impression than years of luxury ever had. Days later, she returned with a proposal no one could have imagined. Her family demanded that she marry someone powerful to protect their business empire. Desperate for a way out, she offered Ethan a contract marriage, believing it could solve both of their problems at once. To Isabella's complete surprise, Ethan refused, not because he disliked her, but because he believed marriage should never become a business arrangement. His answer confused her. Everyone she had ever known wanted something from her, yet this man walked away from everything she offered. Not long afterward, Ethan received devastating news. The small garage his late father had built with decades of sacrifice was about to be taken away forever. Every wall, every tool, and every memory suddenly stood on the edge of disappearing, leaving him with almost nothing. When Isabella learned about his situation, she returned with the same offer. This time, Ethan understood that accepting might save everything his father had worked for. They signed the agreement with clear conditions. Neither expected love. They simply believed they were helping each other survive. The wedding shocked everyone. Society whispered that the billionaire's daughter had made the biggest mistake of her life. Her father watched with disappointment, convinced the marriage would never last. But while others judged appearances, neither bride nor groom truly understood what destiny was quietly preparing. The criticism came quickly. Newspapers, television, and social media painted Ethan as a man chasing wealth instead of love. Every headline questioned his character. Every stranger believed they knew his intentions. Yet Ethan never defended himself. He continued living with the same quiet dignity he always had. Isabella's decision came with a painful price. Her father stripped away every privilege she had ever known and forced her to leave the mansion with only a single suitcase. She walked away from unimaginable wealth, uncertain of her future, but strangely relieved to finally make her own choice. The apartment above Ethan's garage was nothing like the mansion she had left behind. It was small, simple, and worn by years of honest work. Yet inside those modest walls, Isabella noticed something she had rarely experienced before. A home built on warmth instead of appearances. Life changed overnight. There were no servants preparing meals or assistants solving every inconvenience. Every chore required effort. Every dollar mattered. Isabella struggled with the unfamiliar reality of ordinary life, slowly discovering that comfort and happiness were never the same thing. Her first attempt at making breakfast ended in smoke, burned toast, and complete embarrassment. Instead of laughing at her mistakes, Ethan quietly stepped beside her and helped without judgment. In that small kitchen, surrounded by simple things, Isabella experienced a kindness more valuable than every luxury she had left behind. As the days passed, Isabella began spending more time at the garage. She watched Ethan work with remarkable patience, treating every customer with honesty and respect. Whether repairing an expensive truck or an aging family car, he gave everyone the same care, expecting nothing more than a fair day's pay. One evening at a neighborhood grocery store, Isabella witnessed something that changed the way she saw Ethan forever. Without seeking recognition, he quietly paid for an elderly widow's groceries before she realized she couldn't afford them. He walked away as if nothing had happened, leaving behind only dignity instead of embarrassment. The next morning, Isabella rolled up her sleeves and picked up a wrench for the very first time. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She simply wanted to become part of Ethan's world. For the first time in years, work gave her purpose, and purpose gave her peace. Weeks slowly turned into months. The garage became more than a workplace. It became the center of a life built on trust, laughter, and shared responsibility. Every sunrise found Isabella unlocking the doors before customers arrived, while Ethan quietly admired the remarkable woman she was becoming. Soon, Isabella managed the office with confidence. She answered phones, organized appointments, welcomed customers, and kept the business running smoothly. The woman who once depended on servants now found genuine satisfaction in serving others, discovering a fulfillment that wealth had never been able to provide. Before long, the entire neighborhood embraced Isabella as one of their own. Customers greeted her warmly, children waved as they passed the garage, and elderly neighbors stopped by just to chat. For the first time in her life, she felt accepted not because of her family's name, but because of her heart. Each day brought new lessons. Grease-stained hands replaced expensive jewelry, and hard work replaced endless luxury. Every small success filled Isabella with quiet pride. She finally understood that real confidence doesn't come from privilege. It comes from earning the respect of those around you. One evening after closing the garage, Ethan and Isabella climbed onto the rooftop to watch the sunset. Neither felt the need to fill the silence. Sometimes the deepest connections are built not through words, but through the simple comfort of sharing peaceful moments together. Watching the sun disappear below the horizon, Isabella found herself wondering what had shaped Ethan into such a generous man. She had met successful people before, but never someone who measured success by the number of lives he quietly helped instead of the money he earned. Ethan's compassion had been planted years earlier by his late father, who believed that every act of kindness eventually found its way back into the world. Those lessons had become the foundation of Ethan's life, guiding every decision long after his father was gone. As Isabella listened, something inside her quietly changed. The admiration she once felt slowly became something far deeper. Without realizing it, she had fallen in love, not with Ethan's circumstances, but with the goodness that lived inside him every single day. That evening, they walked home beneath glowing streetlights, sharing smiles that needed no explanation. What had begun as a carefully negotiated agreement was becoming something neither of them had planned. Somewhere along the journey, convenience had quietly transformed into genuine affection. But happiness rarely goes unchallenged. One afternoon, Richard Carter arrived at the garage determined to end the marriage once and for all. To him, Ethan was nothing more than an obstacle standing between his daughter and the future he had carefully designed. Richard entered Ethan's office carrying an expensive leather briefcase filled with enough money to change almost anyone's life. He believed every person had a price. All Ethan needed to do was accept the offer, leave Isabella forever, and disappear without asking another question. The proposal seemed impossible to refuse. It promised financial security beyond imagination. Yet while the money sat untouched on the desk, Ethan's thoughts remained fixed on something far more valuable. Some things he believed could never be purchased, no matter how much money was offered. Richard increased the offer, convinced that persistence would eventually succeed where money alone had failed. But Ethan remained calm and unwavering. Some victories are earned by standing your ground, even when no one else is there to witness your decision. At that exact moment, Isabella arrived outside the office. From the hallway, she caught only fragments of the conversation. She saw the open briefcase filled with money and her father's determined expression. Unable to hear Ethan's refusal, she reached the worst possible conclusion. Overcome with pain, Isabella packed her belongings and walked away before Ethan could explain what had really happened. The apartment that had slowly become a home suddenly felt empty again. Love was slipping away, not because it had failed, but because it had never been given the chance to speak. Ethan stood silently in the pouring rain, watching the woman he loved disappear into the distance. He could have chased after her, but he knew that broken trust cannot be repaired by desperate words. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is simply wait for the truth to find its own way. Days later, fate intervened once again. Driving home after work, Ethan came across a terrible highway accident. Without thinking about his own safety, he rushed into the burning wreckage and carried a frightened child to safety moments before the vehicle exploded. His courage came at a great personal cost. News of Ethan's bravery spread across the city almost overnight. The same headlines that had once mocked him now celebrated him as a hero. But Ethan had never acted for recognition. Saving a life simply reflected the man he had always been. When Isabella saw the news, regret overwhelmed her. She rushed to the hospital, terrified that she might lose the one person who had loved her without conditions. Every step down the hospital corridor carried the weight of everything she wished she had understood sooner. While Ethan fought for his recovery, Richard's lawyer revealed the security footage from the garage office. For the first time, Isabella saw the entire conversation exactly as it had happened. Ethan had refused every offer, choosing love over wealth without hesitation. The truth shattered every painful assumption. Ethan had protected their marriage while she had unknowingly walked away from him. In that moment, Isabella realized that trust is built not by what we think we see, but by having the patience to seek the whole truth. Sitting beside Ethan's hospital bed, Isabella held his hand through tears of remorse. She remembered every act of kindness, every quiet sacrifice, and every moment he had placed her happiness above his own. Nothing hurt more than realizing she had doubted the very person who deserved her trust the most. As morning sunlight filled the room, Ethan slowly opened his eyes. Relief replaced fear, and forgiveness quietly replaced regret. Some relationships survive because they never face hardship. Others survive because love chooses grace when mistakes seem impossible to overcome. Months later, the little garage where everything had begun became the most meaningful wedding venue imaginable. Surrounded by friends, neighbors, and the community they had come to love, Ethan and Isabella celebrated not a contract, but a marriage built on honesty, sacrifice, and genuine commitment. Their journey proved a lesson that neither wealth nor status could ever teach. Money can build magnificent houses, but only character can build a lasting home. In the end, Isabella didn't marry the richest man in town. She married the man with the richest heart, and that made her richer than she had ever dreamed. Never judge a person's worth by what they own. True wealth is revealed by integrity, kindness, sacrifice, and the way someone chooses to love when no one is watching. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Like, subscribe, and remember, sometimes the greatest treasures in life are found where the world never thinks to look.